Hey YouTube, Wes here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Vinyl Survivor. As always, 10 albums up on the chopping block, pulled from my inbox. I've given them all a critical listen. I'll let you know what I think of each one and let you know whether they're going to be staying in my permanent collection or whether they just weren't for me. Let's go ahead and get into it. First one we have here is a live album from 1974. This is War, Curtis Mayfield, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Kool and the Gang, and Jimmy Witherspoon. Yeah, just a great live performance from all these artists. It was an enjoyable listen, but unfortunately, I don't think this has much replayability for me, but it was enjoyable to listen to. This one's on the Chess Record label. Yeah, it's just some great mid-70s soul and funk music, live stuff. Enjoyable, but not a keeper for me. Next, I got a 12-inch single for you from the 80s. This is from 1985. Oingo Boingo's Weird Science. Really cool single there from Oingo Boingo. Classic 80s hit there. It's on the MCA Records label. Yeah, it's got an extended dance version and then the original release. So nothing too exciting on this single. Nothing too rare on there. So yeah, for that reason, I'm not going to be keeping this one around. It's basically just a single. There's nothing, interesting. There's not kind of any interesting remixes or any kind of interesting B-sides on here. It's just the single Weird Science, two different lengths. So it's not going to be staying in my permanent collection. All right, next up is another 80s single, but this one is from Softsell, and it's for their big hit, Tainted Love. This also has a live version of Memorabilia and then a tainted dub version of Tainted Love. So this one is more interesting in that respect, that it has some oddities and some interesting things on here. So this is a keeper for me. I love the song Tainted Love. That's on the Sire Some Bizarre label. Yeah, pretty cool, Tainted Love. Funny thing, I don't think I'd ever heard this song until 1995. I was at a dance party, high school graduation dance party kind of thing, and they played it, and I instantly loved it. But yeah, Softsell's Tainted Love, classic 80s hit, and a cool 12-inch single, and I'm going to keep this in my permanent collection. All right, next up, staying in the 80s, but talking about some hip-hop here, we have the debut major label release from MC Hammer. Let's get it started. Not much needs to be said. I think I've shown this one before in the Vinyl Survivor series. I've picked up multiple copies of this over the years. This one is nice, but it's not as nice as the one I already have. So this one will probably end up in my Discogs store. Purple Capital label. So yeah, MC Hammer's Let's Get It Started. I like it. I own it, but this was not an upgrade. So this will probably end up in the Discogs store. All right, next up, moving back into the 60s here. I believe this is from the 60s. This is a Harry Belafonte album titled Swing That Hammer. This happens to be a Japanese pressing of it, so that was really cool to find. And yeah, good solid Harry Belafonte album. He's definitely in his prime here. Really enjoyable. If you like Harry Belafonte's sort of early period, then this is going to be right up your alley. Really nice. Really nice album. Definitely very pleasant, very soulful kind of Harry Belafonte album. There is the RCA Victor Japanese label. All right, next up we have the debut album from, I believe this is from '89 also, from the group Radio Blue. This is their debut album titled Warehouse. This was a total blind buy for me. I didn't know what I was getting, but I decided to pick it up and give it a try. This is kind of like I guess I best put these as garage rock kind of sounding. Very, very heavy, very loud, very thrashy. Not what I typically go for, so I did not really enjoy this that much. But if you like that kind of music, then maybe this would be something you would like. And they're on the Mercy Beat Records label. See, that'll end up in my Discogs store. I opened this. This was sealed when I bought it. I opened it, played it once, and it's going to end up in the store. So it's pretty minty. If you like the group, then check out my Discogs store. Next up is a live album from 1975. This is Roxy Music with Viva Roxy Music. Nice bit of glam rock here. Really enjoyed this one. Nice live album from them. Definitely a keeper for me. So on the cool yellow Atco label. Yeah, so Roxy Music's Viva. Liked it. It's going to be a keeper. All right, next up, not much more needs to be said about this one. I'm sure most of you know of this one if you don't already have it in your collection. Led Zeppelin, Presence. Kind of the embossed title here. Cool. Fun gatefold on this one. The inner sleeve with the object, I think they call this. And it's kind of funny that people have been discovering objects in parks around the country here, I guess. Anyway, who knows what's going on with that? Some kind of PR stunt, I'm guessing. And of course, this being Led Zeppelin, it's on the Swan Song label. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. I'm a fan of Led Zeppelin. I have a pretty decent Led Zeppelin collection, so this one's going to be a keeper for me. And a nice copy of that going into the collection. All right, next up we got some Indian music here. This is Ravi Shankar with Portraits of a Genius. Of course, very much what you would expect from Ravi Shankar, very spiritual Indian kind of music. I enjoyed this, definitely want to keep this in the collection. And it's on the World Pacific label, pretty cool label there. And lastly, we got some fusion jazz here. This one's from Aldi Meola with Cielo y Terra. This is from 1985. Yeah, getting into that smooth fusion jazz kind of period in the mid to late 80s. Definitely didn't love this one. I appreciated it listening to it, but it's just a little bit too much smooth fusion jazz for me. I like the earlier fusion stuff from the late 70s period was kind of the best period for that, in my opinion. But yeah, I appreciated listening to this one, but unfortunately it's not a keeper for me. And this is on the Manhattan Records label. So that's going to do it for this episode of The Vinyl Survivor. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're all doing well. As always, you can check out my Discogs store by going to deepdishrecords.com. It'll take you over to Discogs. You can find all the interesting stuff I have. I'm always adding new stuff to the Discogs store, so if you want to check that out, you can. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm on Instagram at WestSpinsVinyl. I try to keep posting stuff I'm spinning there. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Leave me some comments in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, great night. Remember, there is no bad music, only music you don't like. And we'll see you again next time. Cheers.